Hi, welcome everyone to our weekly recap. Thanks for joining us. Here is part of the Defiant print team going over the most important headlines of the week. I am Cami Russo, the founder of the Defiant. We have Owen for now with us, our staff reporter, and WOJAK trader, our head of news. So welcome everyone joining. This week was a fun one. It was meme coin week, so we had a rally in these kind of joke coins. We hadn't seen this kind of action since the bull market, so fun to see. And then on the kind of other extreme of crypto, there was tons of regulation news with Gensler testifying in Congress, and then Societe Generale, SockGen issued a stablecoin. Also, Alex Pertsev, the developer based in Holland, was finally freed. So lots to cover. We'll get right to it with YYC going over what I think is maybe his favorite topic after NFTs, meme coins. You had this really interesting story on NFT traders turning to flipping meme coins this week.
Yeah, it's definitely been a fun week, and for those of you who are just joining us and have no idea what we're talking about, there was this PEPE token that launched last Friday, and I mean, when it first came out, people sort of ignored it because there've been these attempted meme coin launches over the last year and a half. None of them really gained traction, because bear market and whatnot. But with this one, something I don't know, it just caught on really quickly, and I mean, it rocketed 500 or 1000x in a matter of 4 days, and of course, copycats and well, not copycats really, but I'd say the success of Pepe kind of sparked off this huge wave of meme coins. I mean, every meme is now a coin, essentially. You even have a Peppa coin. You have, what did I see this morning?
WOJAK.
Grand Pepe. I don't even know what that's supposed to be, but yeah, people have just been trying to get into these coins early, and when they usually launch at a very low market cap, like $5,000, $10,000 maybe, and yeah, people have just been jumping into them as quickly as they can and unloading them when they even rally a little bit, 2, 3, 4x. So I was just discussing with Owen before we started the call that NFT traders joining this game has had some strange dynamics going on in terms of price action, because NFT flippers are so used to kind of just buying and dumping something for 0.01, 0.02, like minimal profits, that they seem to be applying the same strategy, if you want to call it that, to coins too. So you'll see, like I've seen this across a lot of these tokens, right? So the coin will launch, everyone will ape in, it'll go straight up, and then as soon as it reaches, let's say, the 4 or 5x mark, everyone races to dump it, right? So they'll dump it back to like almost nearly zero, and then someone will start picking it up, and the cycle continues. But it's like you can literally see it happening on the chart, right? It's quite fun to watch.
Why do you think there's a difference in how NFT traders trade versus just meme coin or just like crypto traders?
I think it's like the markets have different dynamics, right? Like in terms of NFTs, you usually want to sell while there's liquidity, because it can dry up at any moment, right? Like bids might evaporate, people might just like vanish, so you won't be able to sell. So the idea to mint something and then sell it quickly, that's pretty much NFT 101, right? If you're looking to flip. But in terms of shit coins, like people who are veterans of like the BSC days from late 2020, 2021, that if you get into a coin early, if you and dump your whole stack once at 4 or 5x's, that kills the pump. So what you need to do is like gradually offload, while you know letting the project continue, because that liquidity is always there, like it's on Uniswap. So unless like the project rugs and like runs away with the liquidity, you can always exit. So there's no reason to kind of create those big red candles on the chart which kind of drive away other buyers, right, who are watching the coins. With these meme coins, it's all about watching green candles. People jump in when they see the green. It's the meme, literally, like the WOJAKs who's watching the chart and pressing the button, just seeing green going up. But so yeah, that in my experience, that's the difference.
Yeah, I did have a thought when they were pumping that like these pumps used to be like very dictated, I feel like, by centralized exchange listings in like 2017, and now it's like you do get that. I don't know, things are just even faster because you can deploy a pair on Uniswap within 5 minutes or something, and yeah, and there's just like an immediate market for these things. So I just imagine that speeds things up a little bit, because I remember in 2017 people were like scrambling, and like exchange listings would like pump a token massively, and it's just interesting that dynamic has been taken out of the market, I think, a bit.
Yeah, definitely quicker to launch a coin than it was in those days. But even now, we're seeing a lot of these coins pump on these tier 2 exchange listings, like Mexi and Gate.io and all these things. That they've been listing all these. I think they were one of the first to list PEPE.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if FTX was around, they would be hip deep in these coins.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far Binance hasn't really moved the way it used to.
Yeah.
It's kind of been quiet. I think they're trying to, now that they're the number one kind of exchange, maybe they want to build a certain reputation and not dabble in these things anymore. I don't know. Because the fees are insane. Like one bot, Jared from Subway, right? You wrote this story about it.
Yeah.
I think he's cleared more than $3-4 million just from
Jesus.
MEVing these meme coins in the last week.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother wrinkle to the story. Cami, you're going to say something?
Yeah. I'm wondering why now? Like, why is this market picking up now? Like, is it a sign that there's more optimism coming to crypto and the market in general? What we see, you had a point in this NFT traders turning to meme coins about how tax season is over. There's fatigue around all the regulatory news. People are just looking to finally have a bit of fun in crypto. Do you think it's just that, like a bit of a relief rally, or does it point to a bigger trend of people are expecting maybe the Fed will turn more dovish, maybe the economy is picking up? I mean, do meme coins point to something more serious?
I think it's too early to make that jump. I would love to say that, bull market's back, this is it. But it's just been a week. And, today with the markets, like broader markets correcting, like ETH is down, like 10-12% over the last couple of days. Like all these coins have been cut in half or more, right? So it's just a high beta play on, I think, euphoria. Like when these things launched, ETH had crossed 2100, was like looking really strong, right on the back of Shanghai, etc. So I think that kind of spawned this this move that we saw. But yeah, like all trends, I don't expect them to last forever. And I mean, I'd say in the last week, maybe if 1,000 coins launched, it's just maybe a handful that are holding any market cap. The rest have gone straight to zero. So Yeah, I mean, I think PEPE being the first one is kind of the barometer, if you want to call it that, for this particular season. So it's still holding up at a market cap of what, around 80, 90 million?
I think it's over 100. I looked this morning.
Is it back above 100?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
just at 100 right now,
Yeah, yeah.
99.5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're still holding even in this just like broader market correction.
Yeah, I think I even saw someone post somewhere. I mean, obviously sarcastic, but they're like, "Yeah, Pepe is a hedge against ETH dumping." I was like, "Yeah, that makes a lot of sense."
Yeah. Go ahead, Cami.
I mean, it's good to point out, yeah, just like that while these meme coins are were taking off this week, there was a broader correction in crypto, and ETH is now below 2,000. Bitcoin is at 28,000. They're both down more than 5%. Bitcoin down almost 8% in the week. So yeah, definitely correcting the gains that we saw last week.
Yeah, and it is interesting, this idea of like connecting a token to a meme. I think it is that test of like, which we've saw, like I wrote about this in my story, but like there was the memes by Punk 6529, and like this idea of like own the memes, and you have this token which represents a meme or something, and it's like it kind of only does to the degree that we agree that it does, like there's no value acquisition. It's not like every time like someone posts a Pepe picture, like you get a cent or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I think it's kind of like NFTs. It's you're basically collecting something that has some meaning to you besides the like financial value. I mean, obviously you expect to make money with it, but the reason why these things take off is because they're funny. It's like, oh, I love the Pepe meme. I want to own the coin. I love WOJAK. It's funny to buy the WOJAK coin. So there's no like direct relationship between the actual meme, and there's no like business model there. It's just because it's funny. These things can take off or flop.
Yeah. I know it was interesting that one of the guys I was messaging with, who said he was in below $30,000 in. So I think that's I forget what that is. Like it's like 1,000x or something. But yeah, he was saying, yeah, he did make an interesting point if you're interested in like the cultural aspect of how applicable these things are, which is that like there are no Dogecoin memes, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like we don't see that on the day to day. So if you kind of believe in the theory that if you got to have a meme coin, it should be one that people recognize, like he has a point. I mean, it's not the most sophisticated analysis, but
but there's tons of Doge, like Shiba Inu memes, right?
Yeah, but it's like, come on, Kimmy, we have the emojis, we have the Pepe emojis,
Sure.
like
in our Discord, yeah.
Yeah, Pepe and WOJAK are like I'd say like crypto meme staples, right? Like that's the stuff you see on a daily basis.
The bread and butter, yeah.
But Doge was like the OG, like back when it's when was it launched? Like I guess like 2016, 2015, around that time.
Yeah.
Like that Shiba Inu dog was the Pepe of those days. Like that's
really?
what like it was like the meme that you saw on the internet. Like the the much something.
Much wow. Oh
yeah. That sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, so it was like the meme of those days, and now like Pepe and WOJAK are the memes of today. So I don't know. It makes sense that they're the new kids on the meme block.
I mean, didn't a picture of the original Shiba Inu sell for like a crazy amount of money in the bull run, if I remember right?
Could be. I think like it's to your point, Cami. I think like Pleaser House, that like television show by Pleaser DAO, they did like sell like the couch of the original Shiba Inu picture.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they sold that for some
What?
amount of money. I don't want to say.
Where was that? Was that at East Denver that happened? I don't know.
think that I don't know. They did a live show. I think the couch. I think the couch was in Japan, but I don't know.
Oh, and they brought the actual Shiba Inu dog, like the actual dog that inspired the meme to DEF CON in Osaka.
Oh, really?
When was it? Like 2018? Yeah, I have a picture with the dog.
Cool. All right.
Yeah,
so Shiba Inu has some legs.
Yeah,
I guess
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But I just think it's interesting that it's a lot like an NFT. Like it is a collectible thing. Like it has this community sort of, meaning behind it. I don't know, and I think it's true that people are just looking to have a bit of fun. Like it's been such a tough year for crypto. Just prices down, regulatory news, and Gensler coming after us, and which we'll get into now. But before we do, should we move on to the next topic, stablecoins?
Sure.
Okay. So Owen, you wrote the story on SockGen Stablecoin. So what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, Societe Generale, 7th largest bank in Europe, 21st largest in the world, released a stablecoin on ETH mainnet yesterday, which kind of took me, pegged to the euro, kind of took me off guard because, I just didn't know that was in the works, although SockGen has like a reputation of various experiments in DeFi. They've worked with MakerDAO on a very complicated deal. I remember trying to understand how that worked, and they've released a security on Tezos. So this was their latest venture, which, very interesting to kind of see them see a major institution put forth like the kind of the value proposition of a digital, like a blockchain based asset, even like despite it being highly regulated. They issued it with the acknowledging that to hold it, you're going to need to go through KYC, anti-money laundering, obviously not be a sanctioned entity. So they kind of launched it with all that acknowledged, and it was interesting to see the kind of the business cases they outlined, and it was stuff that we're kind of familiar with, but is kind of, I don't know, I think sometimes crypto can be wishy-washy about the real value, especially if things are still like a permissioned asset. So those were increased speed and transparency, minimalized settlement, credit, and counterparty risks, and also just like the ability to plug into DeFi. So those are kind of hinting at the things that we think about. It doesn't sound sexy per se, it's not like creating some new world order through crypto, but it is getting at some of the kind of core values of the speed and the robust security that the blockchain offers, as well as maybe the amount of creativity you can plug into if you plug into DeFi. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
that
do you know
yeah.
do you know like over which blockchain they're issuing the stablecoin?
Ethereum.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So SockGen will custody the actual euros backing the stablecoin, I guess, right?
Yeah. Or I think like technically it's like a separate entity. There was some legal jargon which I didn't totally understand, but I think there's some way in which it's not like they have minimized it's not like they can just obviously like leave with the custodied assets. I think it's like a separate entity which has different like fiduciary duties or something.
Okay.
So anyways, just some color.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I guess like the coin would be redeemable for actual euros, or I don't know, but it's cool. It's like we have been lacking, I think, a euro-based stablecoin. Like all stablecoins, or the biggest stablecoins are US dollar based. So it's good to see a euro base. I mean, there's so much activity going on in Europe, especially now with all the regulatory uncertainty in the US. So I think this is just another sign, or could be another sign that the crypto ecosystem in Europe is strengthening.
Yeah, I totally think so. I mean, and I noted that in the article that I think it's like the entire market cap of all euro stablecoins, and there are a few, but it's like, I think it's like 188 million as of yesterday, and I think that's still, I wrote that. USDT is 400 times that, and that's just the top dollar peg stablecoin. So there's a huge room for growth, and also that regulation MiCA just passed, which I think provides, like, I think people are billing it as like the most sweeping like regulatory framework for crypto so far. And so, I mean, just to your point that Europe is looking like a more crypto friendly environment, is that passed. Societe Generale like specifically said that they were looking at MiCA when they were designing the asset to be compliant. So it's like, what I already said, that people are watching.
That's interesting. That it tying it to MiCA. Europe is establishing this broad framework that brings clarity to the industry in Europe, and then this just paves the way for institutions, banks to build on crypto and to integrate it more. We don't have that framework in the US, and maybe that's why there's no US bank who has issued a stablecoin yet. But I think like SockGen is the first bank who's actually done this, right?
Yeah, and I think they were kind of presenting it almost, I think Diego mentioned this in our internally, that shout out Diego, but he just that it was like that it could be a framework for other stable coins as well. Like there's that I would have to look into the white paper again, but it was interesting that, like, I mean, I don't know, but if SockGen could potentially kind of, I wonder if they're gunning to not only be like custodying or kind of be the issuer for a euro pegged stablecoin, but also like stablecoins as a whole. And if they, someone just posted Singapore dollar, if people pull that off, I mean, if SockGen pulls that off, they'll be, I think, in a good position to take the lead in a lot of ways. So we'll see.
Yeah, and then we had also stablecoin related news in the US, and kind of goes in line with what we were saying about how, well, in Europe we see a lot of progress and this huge bank issuing a stablecoin. Meanwhile, in the US, Congress revives this Stablecoin Bill, which looks to potentially limit or at least crack. I don't know if it's not stablecoin friendly. I would say. Did you have a chance to look at the bill?
Yeah, I didn't, not hugely. I mean, the most familiarity I have with it is maybe like a conversation with DeFi Dave from ETH Denver, saying that that this bill does. If it's the bill, I think it is, because, sorry guys, this is Alex's story, but that this is it's like specifically looking to define what a payments stablecoin is, and to create a framework around that, and really to kind of separate this concept of payment stablecoins from the rest of crypto. And maybe there's a possibility to carve out some solid legislation around stable assets used to pay people rather than crypto, which is a whole other can of worms. I mean, that's the way Dave presented it, was that there's maybe a way to work on payment stablecoins before you work on the much gnarlier question of whether ETH is a security. So
what makes a stablecoin a payment stablecoin? Like, you can use any stablecoin for payments. Like, all of them have dual use cases, right? Like, you pay people in USDC, but you also use it to provide liquidity for, like, say, USDC ETH on Uniswap.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it doesn't really make too much sense to that distinction, at least
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
it's more
the core
about
of about registering, right?
yeah. So they want stablecoin issuers to register with the U.S. authorities and provide monthly kind of statements as to their reserves, etc. And temporarily banning algo stables, right? So no fun Ponzi's for the US in the next cycle. Sorry, guys. But yeah, I think one of the critiques of the bill is that external audits aren't made mandatory. So you'd be essentially relying on the company's word
Huh.
that the reserves are what they say they are. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure the companies themselves might do an external audit, but including it in the law would make it so much better, right? Like if you're
Yeah.
going to regulate stablecoins, at least say, okay, you need to have audits from 3 external parties or whatever. If you're
Right.
dealing with billions of dollars of users' money,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that would be a much more helpful regulation than banning algorithmic stablecoins. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why ban a technological innovation? Yeah, like sure, like so far they haven't succeeded necessarily, but it doesn't mean that they never will. Like, why? I don't know. To me, it's like banning code, like banning development, doesn't make any sense. While having to prove that you have the reserves that you say you do, that would actually protect investors. And like
I'll take the other side on that one. I don't mind losing algo stables. I kind of just feel like I don't know. None have worked yet. Like
they've had they had their chance and they lost it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like if we are trying to protect investors, it does feel like like investors have gotten seriously burned on algo stables. So we'll see. Or I mean, legislation is really complicated. Like maybe there's a way to sandbox algo stables in certain ways. But yeah, maybe an outright ban is a bit too specific. But if there's a way to kind of
I think it's a bit too much. Like I think you could provide information like disclaimers, warnings for investors, but I don't know, banning something outright. Like what other? I don't know. Like maybe there are, but I can't think of any other like financial primitives or that aren't outright scams that are banned. Like our penny stocks aren't banned, and those are super risky.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's like making this exception for this really kind of niche and experimental corner of the market. Doesn't I don't know why they went out and
I
did
mean,
that.
if they really wanted to protect investors, they should ban like penny stocks, option like weekly options, like all these binary options, CFDs. These are like financial instruments of personal destruction that pure gambling tools that are out there, but allowed and not really. I mean, as long as they make money for the banks, they won't be banned, right? But algo stables don't yet, so.
Why not ban casinos? Like, if you're gonna do that, then I mean, people always. I mean, the house always wins. Like, there's if you want to protect investors and ban casinos, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm just maybe I'm devil's advocate, but it's like. I mean, casinos, they're a risk, but I feel like, I guess I just feel like the marketing around Terra was like really harmful, and
that's true.
Something needs to be like that shouldn't be allowed. This thing of like people uneducated, like financially uneducated people being like, oh, 20% on my dollars, like let me just like loop that. Like I think that is I don't know. I think people need to be stopped from doing that, I think. But I appreciate Standard Protocol's joke, which is algo printing is the US's job, and yeah, you don't compete with the U.S. So maybe.
Wait,
maybe
and it's even worse. Like the U.S. dollar isn't backed by anything. At least, UST was backed by Luna, but the dollar is just backed by our faith in the U.S. government. So.
And the military.
Yeah, the military.
You have the biggest gun.
Okay.
You can have the world
fine.
reserve currency.
That $850 billion defense budget we have, that's what backs it.
All right,
Anyway.
that's something.
Yeah.
No, but I agree that the marketing around some of these coins. I mean, just specifically thinking about UST and Luna, that was super predatory. Like just guaranteeing anything that guarantees a return is a huge red flag. Like that shouldn't be allowed. So I don't know. I think there's some maybe regulation around disclosures, like information around marketing, financial instruments. All those things I think should be improved for sure.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the news about Do Kwon having a Trezor?
Oh my God! Yeah, I saw that. Is that
what happened? You don't have to say it.
You say it. Wait, let's see.
Well, let's just say it had to be found through invasive methods.
I don't want to talk about that.
Is that true? Is that true?
No way.
I mean, but we can't really confirm it, but it's all over.
It's all over social. Twitter.
Yeah.
There's a Trezor that appeared in his X-ray scan.
That sounds like fake news. That's crazy.
Yeah, it does. That's why it wasn't. I don't know.
It's fun though. It's fun. Well, oh my God, we've had some crazy times. Remember, like when Jared Gray was like, him and a horse evidently went on a date or something. Like,
oh my God, yes. Oh
yeah, that was also legendary DeFi moment.
I actually went on video talking about that. That was, my my lowest point, I think, on our YouTube.
All right, well, let's change topics. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to a more serious matter. So I'm sure most of you guys by now have seen the top moments of Gary Gensler's hearing in Congress. I mean, this is going to go down in crypto history, I think. So Gary Gensler, SEC chair, was questioned in Congress this week about his stance and the actions he's taken in crypto. And I think he just really objectively made a fool of himself. Like, I don't know if there's a better way to say it. Like it was really bad. He wasn't, here's a man that on one hand argued that there was enough clarity for the crypto industry to register and comply with U.S. laws, and on the second hand, like in that same hearing, wasn't able to answer basic questions about the thing he was regulating. So specifically, he was asked about Ether, whether it was a security, and he just like flat out refused to answer that very simple question. So it was like, in the span of the hearing, he said there's enough clarity, but he wouldn't answer this basic question about the second largest cryptocurrency out there. So it was pretty laughable.
What did he say? Something like it depends on the facts and the law, or some ridiculous statement like that?
He had this like canned statement that he just like kept repeating. So it's completely, I don't know, like he wasn't he wasn't willing to answer any single question. He was asked, about FTX. He had met with SBF twice, and on why he didn't take action against that exchange. And I think, like, overall, the sentiment was that he will continue to offer regulatory clarity, or he'll continue just like enforcing actions through the SEC without providing any clarity on why he's taking those actions. And yeah, it was just really, really scary to see, I think, for anyone in crypto, how the kind of top person in charge of the securities regulator just was unwilling to provide any clarity at all, even when he was being pressed under oath to do that.
We got to interview Gary Gensler. That's the thing we have to do. I want to, I don't know. Just I don't think people ask enough, what is motivating him? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was like him personally, what is, because he does seem a bit antagonistic towards crypto. I mean, obviously, and
Yeah.
it's like what, I don't know. I was looking through for my DMs because I was asking someone about this, about what, I don't know, just like what is going on. Everyone loves the scapegoat, but what is he thinking? Is he thinking that he built his wealth through this system, and if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for everyone? I'm not sure, but I don't know. I feel like it would be interesting to get inside his head, or write a profile about him or something, because yeah, he just seemed staunchly kind of unwilling to cooperate in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, at the same time, a few years ago, he wasn't so anti-crypto, right?
Mm-hmm.
When he was he's talked about, which was it, Algo, right?
Yeah, he taught the classes at MIT.
Yeah, and he was talking about Uber being built on blockchain and stuff like that. I remember, at least in the clip that I saw. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's the thing. That also came up in the hearing, how he has never owned crypto, he has never used crypto, and he's giving classes about it and regulating it,
Mm-hmm.
which is also questionable, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just going through my DMs with this lawyer, and one of the points he made was that there's some kind of political ambition at play. He doesn't think that's the only factor, but it's also if given the, and maybe to your point, why I see it's and I may be stepping out of my expertise here, but I think it's playing to the current administration, which I think sees crypto as kind of on a right-leaning libertarian kind of venture, that maybe Gary has kind of shifted a bit to fit in with the current administration, and it helps him politically to be seen as someone tough on crypto. I think that might factor in, although maybe not exclusively. So
yeah, there has to be something like that motivating him, because it seems like an extreme bias against crypto. He's not objectively looking at the industry and weighing the pros and cons, and he's going after this tech, it seems like. So there has to be something else there.
Yeah, or maybe he just likes antagonizing CT.
Right?
He's he must be getting tagged nonstop, right, on his profile.
Yeah,
he
I did
likes
wonder,
being the bad guy.
Yeah. Like, what is it like? Just like every tweet, you just get ratioed so hard. It's like, I don't know. What is it like being that kind of person? You're just going to get dunked on. I don't know. Amazing.
He must enjoy it. Like, just, it's like the attention. Even if people hate you, it's still, just like having that sort of impact. I don't know.
Well, he threw on sunglasses on his profile picture on April 1st. And people were
Really?
like, yeah, people were just like, oh man, like he knows what he's doing more than I don't know, more than he's ever gonna say probably. So
Yeah, I'm sure he's loving it.
yeah, he's been around. It's crazy. Just my last thing, like I realizing that he like, I was reading a book about long-term capital, that hedge fund that blew up in I think it was the late 90s, and just like, he was around there. Like they got called in, all these central bankers like called in all the major banks to bail out long-term capital. And like Gary, I think he was working for the Treasury at the time. Like, he was in there looking through long-term capital's documents. So it's just like, it's wild that this guy, I mean, he said it himself, he's been around for 40 years. But it's just like, he's very smart. He knows what, he knows a lot of things. So I don't know. He's not dumb. So
anyways. Oh no, of course not. Yeah.
No, yeah.
He's just mean. No. No. Like, he's just so anti-crypto for some reason.
Yeah, he's like, you guys celebrating Shanghai? All right, let's dump like 6 lawsuits the next week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I still wonder if at some point U.S. regulators will shift and just like realize we're chasing all this industry away from the U.S. And giving China, giving competitors in the world stage a leg up in this new industry, and realize that and change their strategy. I don't know. Obviously, not with Gensler, but maybe Congress or lawmakers or will start to push in that direction.
Yeah,
it's just so obvious, like why would the U.S. want to hurt itself like that?
Yeah, I think at this point, because you did see Congress people ask some pretty pointed questions, which people felt like were representative of their concerns. So I do think that it seems, I mean, I'm by no means an expert, but it does seem like there's growing kind of well articulated points about what you just said. And I wonder in 2024 with a new administration, maybe those voices will get louder. So yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, if Trump gets reelected, I'm sure there'll be a U-turn. I mean, he loves crypto now. Look, he just made like $4 million off his NFTs.
But didn't we write that they were dumping or something? The Trump NFTs?
That was the first collection because like who, I don't know who's advising him, because the first collection had 45,000 NFTs, in itself a massive collection, right? And somehow they pumped to like half an ETH a piece.
Yeah.
And then he decides to drop 47,000 more at once at $99 a piece.
Jesus.
So holders of the first collection just got cleaned up. Like within an hour, I think the floor fell like 75-80%. Like everyone who could dump just dumped and went to mint the other ones, because those were like a lot cheaper and they are a lot funnier too. Like they redone the concept of the NFTs, right?
Oh my god!
Can you post the link? I haven't seen that. I haven't seen those Trump NFTs.
I would have loved to be in the meeting. Like, just imagine him like workshopping the images. Like, oh my god, what? Like, I mean, yeah. Well, I see you showed some. It's like him like riding like playing an American flag guitar or something. Oh my god.
That's amazing.
Let's try to find the link for the second collection.
Yeah.
Like even if you hate Trump, like those NFTs
are
just
it's amazing.
too funny.
Yeah.
It's like Trump lovers and haters will there's a reason to hold them.
Oh God, yeah. Not financial advice. No, of course. We're not shilling Trump NFTs.
Obviously, no, I would never do that. No, I don't want to shill Trump anything.
Oh yeah, here's the link. If you scroll down a bit, you can see the new one.
Oh, wow! I see
God.
you're in the other chat, I think, but I guess you can see the URL.
No. I think we can see them.
Yeah, scroll down a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Nice. Leader of the free world.
There you go.
There you go.
These are hilarious. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. So I mean, to the original point, yeah, maybe the U.S. stance on crypto will change with a new administration. Maybe the reason why Gensler is being this way is because he thinks that'll play well with the current one. So we'll see. I don't know, but I think there must be something else motivating Gensler, some political ambition. I don't know if like lobbying funds are disclosed. I don't know if he's getting paid by banks, or I don't know. Like I think that's more like lawmakers, like Congress people.
Yeah, but Alex said like he was saying that like the laws get made and then a lot of the lobbying happens like once the laws get made. Like I mean that's maybe a good segue into the next story. Just like that, that like laws get made and then actually a lot of lobbying efforts happen for the interpretation of the law. Which is like kind of what we saw last week when the SEC reopened that comment period regarding DeFi and what constitutes like a quote unquote exchange. So just like I mean I've been learning that there's a lot of interpretation that goes on once a law is already made. Like there's a whole rule making procedure which happens after that, which is under the SEC's purview. So I don't know, maybe some lobbying is going on. I'm sure a lot of conversations are going on.
So about this rule change for DeFi, like what are the main points here that are being treated?
Yeah, I mean, so the main my main understanding, and this was last week when I interviewed and I think wrote this story, but it is basically this was the comment period is already opened once. This was the second time the comment period about this rulemaking by the SEC was opened, and this was the one that was released, I think like a year and a half ago, roughly, that everyone was worried because it kind of made everyone seem like an exchange, which is what the CEO of the DeFi Education Fund told us, is that I mean, he says it, everyone and their mother should be concerned, and so it's like that people are going to be regulated as, I believe the phrase they're using is communication protocol system. And if things are, I don't know, it's a little squirrely, and I don't want to put out any fake news, but my understanding is that it's that one bill that people were worried about, that like, your Uniswaps are going to have to make their customers go through KYC or something like that. And people are very concerned that it's just like this very heavy-handed legislation, which is going to encompass so many different players, like including validators, maybe, just like developers pushing code, that like everyone is supposed to fall within the regulatory regime of an exchange. And so it's kind of, it seemed like it was kind of quiet, but it seemed like, it, along with the Coinbase lawsuit, seemed like the big ones, so to speak, in terms of showdowns with the SEC and how to regulate crypto. So that's my high level explanation.
And if that wasn't enough, we had other news from the SEC. They issued a lawsuit against the Bittrex exchange. saying that Algo and Dash are unregistered securities. So, and kind of on the same line of this DeFi bill, the idea is that this exchange operating in the US was allowing for investors to trade on tokens that the SEC says are unregistered securities, so that Bittrex should register as an exchange. So I think the whole this just points to what the SEC is looking for is for crypto to just fall in line and comply with existing securities regulations. Like, they don't think that new rules should be made exclusively for crypto, even if it is a new technology that operates in completely different ways than what traditional finance does. They don't see it necessary that new rules should be made. And so exchanges, DAOs, developers, open source protocols, like all of that, stable coins, tokens, governance tokens, all of that should somehow fit into existing regulations that have, that were made decades ago, and when this technology didn't even exist. So the SEC will argue, the laws are there, you need to follow them. People in crypto will argue it's like fitting a round peg in a square hole. So I think that's the kind of the core of the issues here. Yeah, we had this video as well, and then we're, I think, coming to the end of the live stream. So let's move to somewhat related news, regulatory news, with Alex Pertsev, the Tornado Cash developer, who has been in custody in prison in Holland since August. He was free to go home. Our story is in the works, so we have just this tweet for now. But you should all go and check out the really great documentary that we did on Tornado Cash. So Alex Pertsev was a developer for this crypto mixer, Tornado Cash, and he was put in custody in the Netherlands without really being charged with anything, and he was just a developer for this decentralized open source platform. So it's been kind of like this example of just very, very extreme regulation for crypto and DeFi. Really great documentary by your team. So at least he's finally free after months of being detained. So yeah, that happened, I think, yesterday. And then in other big headlines this week, we had a couple of bugs. Where we see, maybe you can get into these. This exploit draining 10 million from Metamask
Sure.
Bug.
This one's actually quite concerning because no one knows yet like what the source of this exploit is, but it's drained over $10 million across 11 blockchains over the last 5 months.
Jesus.
And a lot of the victims are veterans of crypto, so been around for a while, not your typical noobs with who fall for a regular phishing attack or give up your seed phrase. So Metamask and other wallet providers are investigating, but it's as of now we don't know what happened with it exactly. So
so scary.
I have to wait and see. It's just recommended that you don't keep all your eggs in one basket, essentially. So don't keep all your assets secured by the same seed phrase, which means that even in MetaMask, for example, if you create a new account, that doesn't mean it's a fresh setup, right? You're creating secondary wallets under the same seed phrase.
Yeah.
So if that seed phrase itself is compromised, all the wallets attached to it are essentially compromised as well.
Yeah.
No, it's
That's
scary.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just MetaMask. Like this exploit affects all wallets, including hardware wallets, apparently. So
Wow.
yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on, and we hope it's resolved.
And
Yeah, what?
shout out to Taylor Moynihan, who I think was the one who first talked about this or uncovered this.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, my crypto founder. She was one of the OG wallet uh, like makers, builders with my Ether wallet. So shout out to her. Yeah, so be careful out there. And then there was this other hack on Kyber Swap.
Yeah, not hack per se.
Oh,
This
okay,
one, like they
bug.
discovered a bug in the contract of their new product. Their Elastic AMM is basically sort of like Uniswap V3. You know, it lets you use concentrated liquidity, you set ranges, etc. So the project, I guess, discovered a bug, or maybe someone reported a bug to them through bug bounty or whatever. But they haven't disclosed what the bug is. Just saying that I guess it can't be fixed in the existing contract, so they're going to redeploy a new contract. They haven't said when, but LPs were able to pull their funds. No money was lost. So
Okay.
just a matter of, I guess, relaunching and getting users' confidence back, and they should be all right. I mean, Kyber has been around for so long, right? It's one of the oldest dexes,
Yeah.
and I use them from time to time because the aggregator is quite good. They're active on, I think, 11, 12 chains by now, maybe.
Mm. Nice. Okay, so at least user funds are safe, and they'll have to kind of redeploy probably after this bug. And then we had a couple of other headlines. Synthetics volume surges on Optimism incentive program, so they're giving OP tokens. In exchange for trading on their perps platform. So we're seeing fees, users, volume all spike on synthetics. And then finally, Uniswap v3 is set to launch on Polygon CK EVM. So yeah, those were the main stories that we covered on the Defiant this week. It was a fun week with meme coins rallying, Gary Gensler getting grilled in Congress, a bunch of regulatory news, Alex Bertsev being freed from Netherlands prison. Yeah, a lot going on. So thanks everyone for joining us in this recap. Owen, while we see anything to add before we wrap up?
I think I'm good. Stay safe out there, guys.
Yeah. Have a great weekend, and Eid Mubarak to everyone who's celebrating.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, great Friday, great weekend, everyone, and see you next week.
Alrighty.